So we are on to myth 10. There's 3 more to go in our myths that we're looking at for our symposium that came from our community. This one, as people looking for the quick fix for behavior problems. So self-reg, Mr. Shanker, Dr. Shanker, can I please have the strategy to deal with, the kid that swears, the behavior problem, the kid that runs out, give me the quick fix for that. So that's a problem. That's a myth out there.
It's one of those questions or themes that needs to be reframed.
Yeah, I think so.
And so I always ask myself, why? Why are you asking for this? And clearly, this is an expression of profound anxiety.
Yeah.
This is very stressful, these behaviors. And what we desperately want is, it's like if you have a toothache, you want the toothache over. So it's not a question that's coming from some sort of callousness or impulsivity. It's a reflection of how important this whole issue is. Now, the problem, of course, is that it is totally focused on behavior. It's totally focused on the symptom and not on cause. And suppose that you were a physician, and so you had someone, let's say a patient, come in and they've got a raging fever, and that you can't, and they're complaining of, let's say, really bad headaches. So that you can significantly alleviate these symptoms if you give them a strong enough Tylenol. So maybe I have to go all the way to Tylenol 3, whatever. It would be a very poor physician who administered this pain reliever or something to reduce the fever and then sent you home. You really want to understand why. And a good physician will start to do tests, will think about other symptoms, will do, I've forgotten the technical term for this, but it's always been on my mind that really what we're trying to do here is we are trying to reframe some really pervasive attitudes. And one of them is that there is no need to look below the surface. There is no need to try to figure out why this behavior is occurring. All that really matters for this child's well-being is that behavior stops. All that really matters for my well-being is that behavior stops. And unfortunately, that does not lead to health. That does not lead to well-being. Not in the child, not in you.
You once told me, so the Thayer matrix, you and I were going back and forth on email with ideas, as we do often, and we were talking about the Thayer matrix and the 4 different quadrants of Thayer, which we'll post a link to so you can learn a little bit about that. But I told you in an email that that there were lovely times for all of them. I tend to be very high tension, high energy. We are there now, and it's a good thing because that makes us more interesting, I guess, to watch. But that I dreaded the high tension, low energy, the crash. The gray bottom right hand corner.
Yes.
But it reminds me of this, and in what you've just shared, because the thinking, you basically told me that, it's a good state to be down there.
I remember this.
And I couldn't figure out what was good about feeling just like peel me off the ground. I'm just done, and I have no energy. It's not just tired. It doesn't feel good. And you'd say, well, how else would you know?
Yes.
How else would you know that you need to take, and you go back to self-reg and do the various different steps.
It's a good example for this.
And I think it also reminds me of Laura Cesaroni, who posted something in our Twitter chat recently on this. And she said, well, let's think about the language there. Fix the behavior. We need to lose fix.
Yeah, that's right.
Behavior, because it's the same. We're not trying to fix it. We're like, thank heavens. It may be uncomfortable. I get it. Misbehavior is not fun. But without that behavior, you wouldn't be able to peer into that child's system and get that information that you need to understand what's going on beneath, right?
Both great. I love that.
And that you've figured out the stressors, the energy, and the tension needs, because the behavior disappears. But it's also in ourselves as well, right?
Yes, it is.
It absolutely is. So there are no quick fixes. You know, if there were, we'd share them really fast. We have strategies.
I'd use them.
I'd use them. Look, you know, but it's also that, you know, these are not things that have just popped up momentarily in time, nor will they disappear momentarily with one little shift. There's things that you can do that make a big difference, but you got to go deeper. You got to go deeper and understand what's beneath, and look at the energy intention.
Yep. Great.